Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a non-Bachelor story to get to today. Jonah Hill's ex-girlfriend exposes horrible text messages. She shared them on her Instagram story. We're going to go through some of this. Some people, a very small minority, are defending Jonah, but the vast majority of people, as you're probably about to see, are saying how sickening it is. So kind of tread lightly as we get into that story. We will have more Bachelor and Bachelorette content. Tonight is week 3 of The Bachelorette. We'll have a pre-show live stream and an after-show live stream back at the home studio. So be ready for that. The show starts at 9 East Coast, so we'll go live at 8 p.m. East Coast. 5 p.m. Pacific, and then right after tonight's episode, and a bunch of other Bachelor content to get to. But for this story, let's first talk about the different texts he sent, and we'll then go to what his ex is actually saying on her Instagram story today, right now. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. I've got stand-up show updates. August 24th, I'll be in Seattle. Tickets are going to be in the link below. And then also August 17th, I just booked a headlining night in Arizona, in Scottsdale, and some other dates coming. So San Diego, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I'll be there too. Check that on my Instagram. Okay, let's get into it. So she shared these text messages we're going to get to right now. They're from 2021, and some people go, well, why is she sharing text messages from so long ago? Well, sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to kind of figure out how they've been wronged in ways like that. And she said, you know what? F it. F it. I don't care if he's a celebrity. I'm done protecting him. So he sent her these demanding text messages. So we'll get to that one in a second here, but let's go through all. I think we have at least 8 of them. So these are text messages from Jonah to his then girlfriend, Sarah Brady, who is a surfer. He says, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt your trust. Some people are defending Jonah. We'll go through more text messages before we kind of break it all down. So then Sarah Brady, had posted this, and while also exposing him, saying, you make me sick. Her response to him was, that makes me feel like you're testing me to see if you should keep me around or dump me because there's something wrong with me. Like I'm a nerdy, dorky, unaware, naive idiot socially. I hear you. And then his response was, those are your words, not mine. He then said, take some accountability and operate with respect. It's that simple. Because I'm tired of your attitude towards surf culture, that contest in that place, because I deserve respect, period. I have been more than patient, and then stuff like this is still here. F that contest, F that place, and F not respecting me always in every situation within surf culture, or you don't get it, and you don't get me. It's hurtful and unacceptable to me. Get it? I don't know if you get it or care or give a shoot about that shoot more than me, even after Dr. Stern has said it loud and clear. He said, literally, just say hello and leave the convo. I love how your therapist thinks I suck. I literally am the best boyfriend on earth. So they're not, look, the message is there for him to say, set his boundaries. He says, if you want to model, if you want to post pictures in a bathing suit, if you want to do all those things, then I'm not cool with that. And it's interesting because, people had posted some different responses. Someone said, Jonah Hill's gross text. My therapist honestly changed my life when he stopped me from saying someone was violating my boundaries and explained that boundaries are values you impose on yourself and your own behavior, not rules you can enforce on other people. I mean, look, is it okay for Jonah not to want to date someone who has a certain profession? I suppose, but at the same time, he went through her Instagram photos to find ones where she was violating his boundaries, or however you want to say it. And within that, he shared, he didn't like her wearing a thong, even though that's not what she was wearing. Like, he had a problem with her wearing a cheeky bikini. Like, that's pretty weird. So the person who shared these messages, which again were on Sarah Brady's stories over the weekend, says, here are the rest of the Jonah Hill texts from Jonah Hill's ex, where Jonah Hill's insecurity shows and how he tried to gaslight her. I don't even know if that's the proper use of the word gaslighting, but either way, Jonah says, nor may I ever want that from my partner, and I reserve that right. I'm open about it. Let me know. We'll respect you either way, but these are my boundaries of this romantic relationship. Here are the terms and conditions I set forth. No surfing, no swimming. If you're going to shower, do it under... He said, I like to know before the premiere so I'm not put in the position of publicly flaunting our love if my boundaries are going to be continued to be disrespected. That would be hurtful and triggering for me. And she replied, understood. He then said, oh, and modeling, which is the last profession I would be with as a partner. And then she replied, thought pics. He said, but LOL, must be hard feeling so trapped. She said, well, maybe you should have asked me more about what I do for work before you decided to date me then. A little late now, she says. He says, keep taking me for granted. Go model. It's a fulfilling life. You'll love it. Real depth and substance and sustainability for relationships. But actually... he said, I'm done with this convo. You know, like I'm married a model, and you can have a very sustainable relationship with someone who works in that art form of modeling. And, it's existed for, since we were chiseling things out of stone, right, folks? So he said, real depth and substance, as if his role on Wolf of Wall Street, where he played a coked out guy. No, don't get me wrong. He got an award for it. He played it good, but it's like he recites other people's words in front of a screen. Whenever anyone talks about their art form being one thing versus, like, look, I do stand-up comedy. I yell into a microphone my complaints. Oh, the world isn't just, oh, boomers, but I'm not knocking down someone else's art form. Right? So he says words into a camera and with emoting certain emotions. And that's why I'm like, look, I've been a Screen Actors Guild for 15 years, but let's not pretend it's anything great. It takes, certain people are better at it than others, but like, let's not pretend you're, building the Sistine Chapel. The 17th chapel will be better. He then said, even the person I loved and shared a bed with uses me and can't just be like, yeah, you were super nice. It hurts so badly, but I'm done apologizing. I was so lovely to you. And again, she said, yep, like kind of unbelievable that a man who sent me stuff like this. So this is what Jonah said. He said he sent, so Jonah Hill wanted her to remove these photos of her in her bikini because she was showing off her butt. He calls it a thong. But the initial text messages he sent to her was him liking those photos. And then she said, how are you doing? He says, good, I want to see you. Would then be upset I didn't read his mind and take down pictures of that once I was in a relationship with him. He said, holy hell. Someone said, holy hell, this is hypocritical. He is batshit, dude. So look, I don't know any other ways to slice it here other than it's pretty wild. This girl is warning to all girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Love y'all. Call me if you need an ear. Yeah, so Sarah Brady's exposing him because she finally decided, like, look, I don't need to protect him. I can share these private messages because they're crazy. So here's the last thing I'll share from what he texted her. He said, respect however you want to live your life. You only get one. Sort of done with explaining myself. Then she responded, 3 removed. Not the video yet. It is my best surfing video. Would you feel better if the cover frame was different? Any more specific ones that bother you? And he said, yes, one that isn't of your ass in a thong. She said, not a thong, but okay. And of course, that was referencing this video, or I believe it was this video right here, where the cover frame was the back side of her. Oh boy, her butt cheeks were seen while she was surfing. Alert the presses. So this is pretty wild stuff. He then says, yes, one that isn't of your ass in a thong. She said, not a thong. He said, and as far as other pictures, you in a bathing suit surfing or not, I'm done. So she goes, not a thong. And he goes, I'm done. There's tons. I'm just going back to the past month. So pretty wild stuff here. And then we also had a response. I'll share some of the different things that Sarah Brady's saying on her Instagram today because she's not done. But here's a response from a therapist in response to people that are saying, oh, what he did wasn't bad.
Jonah Hill was using therapy speak to control his girlfriend Sarah, his now ex-girlfriend, and it's important that we go over this misuse of therapy language, which is kind of a thing these days, and how it can be super problematic as it masks controlling behavior under a commonly accepted positive concept, in this case, boundaries, making it harder for the person on the receiving end, Sarah, to challenge it. Okay, so Jonah is basically telling his professional surfer girlfriend, I am not going to be with you if you surf with men, have boundaryless friendships with men, model, post pictures in a bathing suit, or post suggestive pictures, and are friends with women who are in unstable places. He goes,
and I would say this, I would say to Jonah Hill, maybe if you're so jealous, because look, jealousy exists, right? It may be, and it's one of the 7 deadly sins. But if you're so jealous of these shirtless men that she's surfing with, think about why you're so jealous and work on yourself. Because look, what do you want? What do you want to marry someone who just wears whatever? You know what I mean? It's kind of like this. Your reaction to this, Jonah, it should be something where then you look at yourself and say, you don't need to set up these perfect boundaries to protect yourself from jealousy. Let her go surfing and then see how you feel and then work on that feeling inside.
He goes on to say that these are my boundaries for a romantic relationship. Jonah's use of the term boundaries in this message is a misuse of the concept. A boundary is a healthy limit a person sets for themselves to protect their well-being and integrity. It is a rule or guideline that one creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for others to behave towards them and how they'll respond when someone passes those limits. However, in the message Jonah sent to Sarah, he is not setting boundaries that protect his emotional well-being. Instead, he is dictating what behaviors and friendships Sarah is permitted to have. He's essentially instructing Sarah on who she can be friends with, what she can do professionally, and how she can show up online. This is not an example of healthy boundary setting. Instead, it reflects an attempt at control. It demonstrates a lack of respect for Sarah's autonomy and individuality. Jonah's message is more about restricting Sarah's behavior to suit his comfort levels and insecurities rather than expressing his feelings or needs in a healthy manner.
He's insecure that she's posting things because he knows that men will be DMing her and this or that. She's not with, because there's always a boundary where it's like, look, yeah, if you don't want to date someone who works as a sex worker, you can understand that. But this is like, where's the line crossed? Are we crossing it at models? Are we crossing it at people that post photos in bikinis? Is it people that post photos in shorts and not wearing long dresses? You have to sort of look at the general norm of today's society and then work from there. He probably, if he's really going to have all these boundaries, he needs to look at that when he starts dating her, not like when he's worried about taking her to a premiere.
This manipulative approach might be for Jonah to express how Sarah's actions make him feel without using ultimatums about what she should or should not do. Side note, I bet he loved how hot Sarah looked in her posts before they got together, so this is a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, Jonah needs to consider Sarah's needs and feelings and not just focus on his own, which it seems like he's selfishly doing. One last thing, Jonah Hill made a lovely documentary about therapy, and it's a shame to see him weaponizing what he learned to attempt to manipulate his girlfriend. That sucks.
Yeah, I watched that documentary. I thought it was so good. I got high one night and just watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, everything they're saying is so amazing here, and I still believe that. But like they said, it was kind of weaponized in this circumstance. Not everybody believes it was weaponized. Candace Owens will always find a culture issue or make a culture issue out of something. So she says, women say there are no good men. The truth is there are plenty of good men, but many women don't want to rise to the level of being good women. Basic respect for yourself and your partner isn't a tall ask. Again, there's nothing wrong with Jonah Hill's leaked text messages. And then she said there's literally, and so, I mean, that's an opinion that some people have online. That's an opinion for sure. I don't know what to say about that other than here's Sarah H. Brady. So yeah, these were the type of issues that there she is surfing. A very beautiful video. She's hanging 10 or whatever. She's like, real incredible stuff happening here. And as someone who loves and respects her for who she is would look at her surfing photos and love that she's got a passion. So often in relationships, she's like, oh, I wish my partner had a passion. They don't have a passion. She's got a passion. So this was one of the photos he wanted taken down. Candace Owens, are we really arguing that Jonah Hill's asks were normal? I mean, come on. She said, reviving a picture I took down by request of a narcissistic misogynist. So she wasn't, at first, when she wasn't, exposing Jonah by name, but then once people weren't believing her or whatever, she's like, all right, whatever, we're going to just call it out. But we're talking about this photo. Are we talking about her cleavage? Is that the issue here? It's a beautiful photo. I don't understand. That's not boundary setting. That's control. That's my opinion. And then let's go through some of Sarah Brady's Instagrams her Instagram stories here. So people are saying, let the woman be a woman. People are sharing her video right here. All beautiful stuff. A lot of people coming together. And then people are talking about, the different ways to protect.
Daddy, it is clear that these men date baddies and then be mad when they still be baddies, right? First of all, I think it's hilarious that no one remembers his name and they just say Keke Palmer's baby daddy because same, right? But he himself took a video of her shaking.
So another example of someone who took a video of someone shaking their ass, and then all of a sudden they became the relationship started, and they no longer wanted that sexualized version of what they were after in the first place. So either way, Sarah Brady has posted a whole bunch here. I listened to my mama and her wisdom over anyone else, and no one can change that. So here's what Sarah said to her mom. Jonah, speaking of Jonah, his name would always be tied to mine for the rest of my life, no matter what. I'd rather it be tied to mine with the truth than without. Without, I would feel like I have to continue answer questions about him politely for the rest of my life, and I don't want to do that anymore. Love you so much, Mama. And then her mom says, totally makes sense. That would be sad to live your life covering up his abuse. I'm really glad for you, Sarah, to have gotten the truth out. I got on Twitter to read, and I guess I'm not shocked how many people can relate, have similar experience similar. Love you, Sarah. So glad you were strong and able to stand up for yourself. And again, we'll have comments from people that don't necessarily agree. Here's a voice note that she said.
I mean, at this point, there's no going back, and I'm not trying to, slander someone's reputation.
It's not slander if it's true, right? Slander and defame are when you say false things about somebody.
I'm literally sharing their own words.
Exactly.
And not gonna lie, part of me waited until after she had given birth, not right after, but a little bit after,
so she's talking about Jonah Hill's new partner who just gave birth,
so that his current fiance and the mother of his child, Olivia, I just hoped she would receive some of these screenshots somehow through friends, friends of mine that I met through him, that I know are good people and I know would make an effort to protect her. I didn't want her to have to see all of this while she was pregnant because I didn't know what kind of stress that would cause on her.
So even in this moment, some people might say, oh, Sarah Brady's bringing this up. It's going to affect this person's baby and this and that. I mean, Sarah Brady, even in the moment, is here trying to protect the other women in the situation. She's not trying to get Jonah back. She's not trying to get money out of it. She's just saying, be aware of guys like this. So it's kind of one of those examples of cracking an egg to make an omelet. The egg is Jonah Hill. The omelet is people realizing you should not take this from an abusive, controlling partner. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. It's an interesting story. As we hear more from Sarah, let's see if there's anything else. Let's see if there's anything else she posted here. The dynamics of my last relationship are not unique. Women deal with this kind of psychological abuse all the time. And, so she's sharing other things people have sent her. Someone said, maybe best for your sake to not make a statement on them. Just my opinion. Just put the facts out and that's it, because this can open up another can of worms. And then, a lot of women have commented, helps me in a lot of ways. One being not having to sugarcoat my experience with him when people approach me about him, just to save myself a conversation with someone who I don't have the emotional energy to give a full breakdown. So it goes on and on. You can go check it out. Big kudos to Sarah Brady for sharing. Usually when you share about someone who's the more famous person that's generally liked in public, people will come out looking at you like, what are you trying to get out of this? And the truth is, nothing really. She's just sharing her story, and if other people are affected by that, that's really Jonah Hill's fault. I'd love to know more about what you guys think about all of this. We'll have more content coming your way. Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast will be this afternoon, so don't forget, get ready for that. Bachelor Rush Hour will be this afternoon and live streaming at 10 a.m. on Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll be back right after this.